Welcome to Strip Cover Lit. I'm Dalton Gentry, and I am here with a little segment that I was supposed to do maybe weekly, but how about every 2 weeks? That works. This is Novel Writing, Episode 2 with Dalton. So, as I said in the beginning, I was going to write a novel. I was going to make sure that I was writing 500 words a day, I was going to work hard on this, and I was going to give updates along the way about things I discovered in my process of writing, since I am by no means an expert. So where do we stand at this point? Have I written 500 words a day? You bet I have. I'm very proud of myself that I'm actually keeping up with my goal on this. Has it all been on the novel? Absolutely not. Because let me tell you a little secret right now, novel writing is a gateway drug. You may have found this out already while doing NaNoWriMo, but the benefit of not doing NaNoWriMo is you have an opportunity here to write other things. So in addition to hammering away at this novel that I've been working on, I've also had the opportunity to write a short story that I'm very proud of. I may actually tinker with that. It was better than I thought it would have been, and I've written a couple poems along the way. So hey, great news. That's writing. It's what happens. You get an idea when you're novel writing, and you're sitting, and you're hating yourself because nothing's working, and things aren't going right, but you have the opportunity to sit down, hammer out a short story, and play around a little bit with your writing. A little bit of things that I've encountered since I've started this novel writing adventure. One of the first things that I had a lot of difficulty working with was the perspective of which I wanted to tell the story. Naturally, as I always do, I say, "Hey Adrian, infinite tomb of wisdom that you are, what do I do? Should I write in first person or should I write in third?" And he says, well, here's the way I see it, your nugget of wisdom for the day. If you're going to write in first person, you have to be able to distinguish yourself from the character, which I think is actually pretty good advice. And he said, that's a lot more difficult to do. I don't know where you are in your writerhood, but it's definitely more difficult than doing a story from third person perspective. So naturally, I say, piss on you, buddy, and I'm going to do first person. So that's what I'm looking at now, a first person perspective of a novel. I'm not sure if I can speak as of right now what I'm working with plot-wise, but one thing I have figured out, and I think is great advice, especially if you are working with NaNoWriMo right now, is don't be afraid to tinker. If you're going to play around with your story, now is the time. And I will be the bad guy here and let you know something. You are not William Faulkner. You're not going to write this perfect the first time and not have to edit it. Sorry if I'm going to break your bubble, but Faulkner's already existed. His time has passed. Now we're focusing on you, and we're focusing on me. Have fun with the writing. Play around with some things. If you have an idea that you want to play with, go ahead and just write it. That's what a first draft is all about. And that's a really important thing, whether you're joining me for doing 500 words a day or you're working at your 1,667 words a day in NaNoWriMo. To get the words out, you just need to sit down and write. Don't worry about whether it sounds good. Don't worry about if you're writing literary fiction, if the dialogue's choppy, spelling errors, grammar errors. Just get the words out. That is all you need to focus on right now. And that is something that really helps. Once you're sitting down and you're really writing for the first time, the second time, you're working on your 10th novel, just to sit down and relax and have fun with things. That really changes the experience. And speaking of the experience, and maybe this is poor advice, but let me give you the best advice I can give at this stage in noveling. Beyond the fact that you should be hitting your word count daily, which you have to do, that is absolutely quintessential as a novelist, have a whiskey write night. I made a terrible decision and sat down and decided, hey, I'm going to have a glass of whiskey here before I start writing. And I actually had American honey, wild turkey American honey. And I said, it's pretty good. I'm going to do my writing now. And one whiskey turned into 2 whiskeys, turned into 3 whiskeys. And I drank a bit much. However, I also nailed out like 2,000 words that night. They just flow so much better. So that is my suggestion to you, your task, if you will, if you're going to be novel writing with Dalton. Sit down, if you are of age, of course, and have yourself a whiskey night. A whiskey writing night, and just let the words flow. you will be surprised how loose you get. It's that liquid courage. Like if you're going out to a bar, you have to have a drink before you go so you loosen up. Same thing with writing. It's absolutely amazing how it works. Now, you are going to be editing a lot later. Trust me, your spelling errors are going to be rampant. But it is a good experience. It really loosens you up and lets things flow. Now, one thing I'm going to have to try to focus on going forward here is, like I said, I did write a short story, and I'm very proud of that short story, and I think there's a lot of good things going on with it. I'm going to resist the urge by all means necessary to edit that short story and to focus on that short story. As long as I am done with my 500 words for the day, I may play with it, but until that word count is met for the day, no editing, no focusing on that short story. It is written, the words are out with that, I will move on from that. In addition to this, I do occasionally write book reviews as well, so I'm going to have to be juggling that, of course, of juggling life and work, etc., etc. But that's part of it. Until you're Stephen King and you're sitting down, you're getting paid to write, and you're writing every day, and you're receiving royalties for books that you wrote 40 years ago, you're going to have to learn to juggle those things. So, like I said, it's absolutely necessary to hit that 500 words a day, hit that 1,667 words a day, whatever it is that is necessary to you to get you motivated and to keep you going. Hopefully I'll be back a little sooner than 2-3 weeks from now with a bit of an update on what I'm going with here, and I will try to get a snippet of something that I'm rather proud of that I think we could discuss as writing. If you are writing along or you're working on NaNoWriMo, leave in the comments down below a snippet of your writing if you would. Maybe next time around we will read a little bit of that and we'll share what we're doing, build that writer community that we've always talked about. Speaking of writer community, something has popped up recently in my little YouTube feed thing called AuthorTube. So I will look more into that and see if this segment would be something that would coincide with AuthorTube. I could just be speaking out of my ass because I don't know what that is at this point in time. But if it is something that can coincide, maybe we can find some people with some better advice than what your little narrator here has to tell you. But if you like this kind of thing, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. I'm going to be trying to do this series more often and try to bring in a little bit of advice every time just to keep you updated with your NaNoWriMo or just your writing experience. Make sure you hit the like button as well. We are Stripped Cover Lit, and you can find us on Facebook at Stripped Cover and on Twitter at Stripped Cover Lit.